Cookie cock ring poetry. Are you ready? Suck me slow, make me grow. Slurp my pride deep inside. I don't know what that means really. Taste my tip, don't let it drip. Assuming this is about ejaculation.
Oh, it's the kid getting words. Podcast don't last, giving you the real talk, no holding back. Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join the movement. Let's change the game with the Can't Get Any Worse podcast.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Can't Get Any Worse podcast. How are we all today? I hope we're all well and just ripping right into our Tuesdays, just living our absolute best lives, because I know I am over here. It's been one of those mornings. Before we dip into our opening clip, let's just do a bit of admin straight off the top. So first things first, I don't know how long this episode is going to go for. You guys are going to know because it's going to have like a timestamp on Spotify or Apple Music or whatever else you guys listen to. But today is the first little dip in the toe of physio on my knee. So I'm a little bit nervous about it, I'll be completely honest, because I've been working pretty hard over the last 6 or 7 weeks to get it back to where it was before I re-injured it. Just purely doing like the shit I was doing last time I did it. And this last week has been the first time I've been able to get back to like skipping and shadow boxing and things like that, which it's been good for the head, if I'm being honest. Lifting weights and all that, that's definitely what I prefer to do. But there's just something about getting a good sweat session on and just doing like that hard shit. Like skipping is so fucking shit. I hate it more than anything. But once I finish skipping for like 10 minutes, you're like, God, my calves hurt, but I feel fucking good about myself. Second thing, it is raining like absolute fuck here at the moment in the magical land of Brisbane. So I would like to apologise if there is any of that noise coming through from my tin roof onto the recording. If there isn't, I probably sound like a complete psychopath right now, just imagining things like, oh God, Jimmy's on crack again. He thinks that there's noises on the roof. And to you guys, I would just like to say, another week with no crack. Is it because I don't want to do crack, or is it because I can't find anyone to sell me crack? You guys can be the judge. I feel like there was something else we needed to touch on at the start. I don't fucking know. Let's get into the opening clip. I might remember after we play it. So, look, this lady intrigued me as soon as I saw this pop up on my feed.
Cookie cock ring poetry. Are you ready? Suck me slow, make me grow. Slurp my pride deep inside. I don't know what that means really. Taste my tip, don't let it drip. Assuming this is about ejaculation.
My Lord, these are my favourite biscuits. If anyone knows where I can get these online, please let me know ASAP. But this is what happens when Etsy girls discover porn. Oh, God. Just imagine walking into Nan's house when you're younger and she goes, oh, I've just baked a fresh tray of cum biscuits to sit on the windowsill. That is some outrageous stuff. But just some of those quotes, let's go through them. Suck me slow, make me grow. If you're not buying a cookie that has that on it, there's something wrong with you in the head. Stroke my pride deep inside. Brilliant. That is poetry at its finest. Taste my tip, don't let it drip. Oh, God. And I literally just fucking, before I do on, just cookie cock ring poetry. Is it 2 weeks in a row where we've got the episode title off the opening clip? Again, it's going to take a big episode to beat that, but I think that is the front runner. And that was the last thing I had to touch on in my little bit of admin at the top end. This last week or so, I've had probably one of the worst flus or colds or whatever the fuck it is that I've had in the last couple of years. And it knocked me on my ass last sort of Tuesday, Wednesday. I thought I was going to die, guys. I didn't think I was going to make it to this episode. So I'm on the back end of it, but God, I wish I had a cough button for this episode, because I feel like this is going to be the longest stretch of talking that I've done in the last week. And I think if I'm going to cough, this is going to be when I'm going to do it. So if I sound like a nasally, pathetic fuck, then that's potentially why. But anyway, look, I thought I'd start the episode. This wasn't even on the run sheet until this happened this morning, okay? As a parent, it doesn't happen all the time, all right? It's very, very rare. But every now and then, your kids just say something and it just puts everything in perspective for you. Like Parker said something this morning and it just clicked in my brain. Like I was looking at him like he was a Rogan or a David Goggins or just someone just spitting straight motivation. But he was, look, I'm a bit of a stress head on Monday mornings, okay? Obviously, I've got the weight of the world on my shoulders. I've got to do drop-off. I've got to get the kids ready. Nikita does it the other 4 days of the week. I don't know how she does it. It is absolute chaos. And just getting 2 boys ready to go to school, like showers, teeth, uniform, shoes, breakfast, fucking everything else. And I got Parker, he wanted like some yogurt or something. So I got him a little bowl of yogurt, set him up on the couch. He's eating away. And I just hear him go, "Oh, Dad." And I've gone, great. Something's fucking happened. I go out in the lounge room and he spilt fucking yogurt all over his uniform that I've just got him dressed in. And look, I don't want to say I got like angry or anything, but you know, as a parent, if you're a parent listening to this, you know sometimes you can let your frustration show. Okay? So I didn't like yell or anything like that. Don't get me wrong. But I'm like, "Oh, P, come on, buddy. Like you just got dressed, blah, blah, blah." And he just looks at me and he goes, "Dad, by this afternoon, you won't even remember it." And I've gone, who the fuck is this little Yoda just sitting on the couch right now? Because it went through my brain and just directly into my soul. And I'm like, you know what, buddy? You're exactly right. And I just picked up his yogurt bowl and just poured it all over his head. And I said, by this afternoon, you fucking won't remember that, you smart ass. I didn't do that. But sometimes these comedic little lines just pop in my head. And I'm just like, I have to let that out into the stratosphere. I have to let the Can't Get Any Worse podcast listeners know that sometimes I can think bad thoughts, okay? Speaking about bad thoughts, season 2 of Tom Segura's show, Bad Thoughts, the trailer dropped this week, and my God, I am fucking pumped. But anyway, that has led us into, I think that's enough of like an opening, what do you call it? Not a beginning, I don't know, introduction? I don't fucking know. Let's rip into some stories that happened this week. But before we do, guys, this could potentially fall into another category of admin. I'm going to reach over here for my energy drink. And some news, guys. Celsius has got back to me. And for the foreseeable future anyway, I reached out to them. I laid out the facts. Let's just say the Celsius social media department, can't fault them. That is who has sent me the free cases, who's been pumping me up on socials going, we're loving the content. We're loving you putting the cans in the hands of world champs like Desley Robinson and influencers and things like that. And just seems their head office is more, and you can't blame them. They're running a business at the end of the day. They're like, look, we've allocated all our resources for 2026. Let's see if we can do something in 2027. But you guys know where I'm at the moment. I want to try and lock in some things, get the wheels turning here at the podcast. So I have been in touch with 2 other energy drink companies. They've both shown interest, and hopefully this week we're going to firm something up, and next week I can announce that we have a energy drink / supplement sponsor of the podcast. But this week I'm going to open a can of an undisclosed, I'm going to disclose it, whether or not they're one of the companies I'm talking to. I'm not going to say that, guys, but I'm going to crack my delicious can of Kamikaze Energy. My God, I had my first can of this yesterday. I had the gummy bear one, off its fucking head. The flavor was ridiculous. And I looked at the side. I'm like, surely this has got to be packed full of sugar. Zero sugar, zero carbs, and packed just full of all this fucking gym shit on the side that I don't understand. So these guys are huge in they're big on training, gaming, work, streaming, combat, motor, partying, and surfing, and potentially podcasting. Who fucking knows? But I know our friends down at the Mayraki podcast, Matty Carvosso, he's in with these guys. So, maybe they want to come and entertain this. But the one I got here is electric lemonade. So I genuinely haven't tasted this before. Oh, they got a nice crack to them as well, a nice crisp crack. So let's take a sip of this live on the podcast. That's fucking insane as well. Jesus Christ. I don't know how, like, the flavor is so overpowering. And even Nikita, she hates energy drinks. She had a sip of the gummy bear one yesterday. She's like, I need more of that. So it's fucking, that's some good shit. I'm going to take another sip. Now, in saying that, obviously I fucking still love Celsius. It's delicious. I love that all you guys got around it. sending me fucking photos and messages and all that sort of shit. So by no means do not go out there and fucking put a hit on Celsius or anything, okay? Keep drinking that shit. It is a good product. So, and to say, like, who's to say we're not going to work together in the future? We could do. But for now, we are in talks with some other people and all shall be revealed shortly. But anyway, that's 10 minutes of rambling off the top. Let's get into some fucking stories. So, obviously, we're going to touch on some kids' stories. Let's kick off with this one. So, every now and then, like, obviously, we all know Westy is obsessed with basketball. It's like his thing that he's found, okay? He's obsessed with it. Day, night, fucking everything. He's watching clips on YouTube and he's always got a ball in his hand. And obviously, that has somewhat led to me getting back into basketball. I used to be back into it back in the day. And obviously, when you become an adult, you get a job, you have a family, you get married, blah, blah, blah. Watching LeBron for fucking 3 hours falls to the wayside and you suddenly get less of a chance to watch it. But now that Westy's getting into it, it's let me double back into it. And he's actually, let's give him another shout out. Why not? The game that he played on Saturday, again, he's just getting better and better, which I'm fucking stoked to see. That was probably his best game. So I said the other week he scored 4 baskets in one game. And it was like, that's good for under 10s. On Saturday's game, he scored 4 baskets in the first quarter. I was like, Jesus Christ, let's go. Steph Curry Jr. over here. But anyway, Steph Curry, conveniently, that's what this story is about. So with Westy, we've been going to the court and like shit like that and just shooting hoops. And with him getting into it, it's obviously made me want to dabble into it a little bit more as well. Obviously, I'm not going to fucking make the NBA. But as a dad, there is no better feeling than going down to a public court full of kids and shit and just getting a swish from the 3-point line, you know? Just everyone looking at you going, Jesus Christ, who's this unk? That's just one of these young sayings that I've heard thrown around on TikTok. And I thought, hey, why don't I say that on the podcast and see if it comes out naturally? And I've got to say, guys, I did not like it. I did not like it one bit. And actually, I had one of you guys, I forget who it was. It was one of the OG listeners reached out to me this week and said, hey, we'll let it slip that you said, I said something about touching little boys or something last week. They're like, we'll let that slide, but saying sippy susu, that's a no-go. And I've got to tend to agree, okay? That is a weird thing to say for a 34-year-old man. But, geez, there was a cough. Anyway, so as I said, I'm starting to get back into it as well, which has led to my TikTok algorithm picking it up. And every now and then, maybe every like 6th video will be a basketball video. And one of them the other day popped up and it was of Steph Curry just shooting around with some sort of streamer. I don't know who this streamer was, but he had a terrible shot on him. He was just missing every shot and Steph goes, all right, I'll show you some tips and I reckon I can get you making hoops in like 5 minutes. Streamer's like, nah, no way. So Steph Curry just starts giving him all these tips. He's like, you want to get as much rotation on the ball as you can. You want to get the arc like a rainbow. Just shoot high and just go for that swish every single time. He's like, you want to get your fingertips in these certain grooves on the ball. And he's just breaking down all this shit, right? And I'm like, next time we're at the courts, I'm like, all right, thinking about this video. I'm like, let's go back to it. Let's see if there's some fact in this. And I do exactly what he said. Bang, swish from the 3-point line. I'm like, nah, that was a fluke. Go back. Do it again. I'm like, oh my God, am I Steph Curry? Am I like that 2000s movie Like Mike where he finds Michael Jordan's shoes and just gets all his powers? Is that what's happened? All his powers from this TikTok video have now come through the screen into my body. And Westy's like, wow, that's crazy, Dad. And I'm like, yeah, I guess I'm the coolest dad on the court right now. And then I start saying to Westy, I'm like, oh, Westy, why don't you do this? Why don't you get heaps of rotation on the ball? Why don't you arc the ball? And he just ignores me immediately. You know, when you're a kid and your dad tells you something and you go, what would you know? And now looking back, they probably did know more than you gave them credit for, but you just can't give them the upper hand when you're a kid. And Westy is doing that to me at the moment. And it grinds my fucking gears if I'm being honest. But anyway, he ignores me and I'm like, oh, actually Steph Curry, I learned this off a Steph Curry video on the internet. All of a sudden he snaps, oh, Steph Curry said it. Must be fucking fact then if he can get you fat loser, shooting like a champ. And I've gone, geez, that hurt. Westy didn't actually say that. But anyway, had to put that in there. Anyway, he starts doing these tips, and now he starts getting swishes, and I'm like, oh my God, I've transformed this kid's career overnight. I'm like, what's that movie? Coach Carter. That's what I'm like right now. I'm just like Samuel L. Jackson over here. And yeah, so oh God. But I would like to take full credit for his good game on Saturday. I think technically speaking, those 4 baskets in the first quarter, I'd like to take full credit for that, you know what I mean? But I'm just basically laundering basketball knowledge through Steph Curry, and I'm just taking full credit. I feel like I'm doing stolen valor right now or something, you know what I mean? But P doesn't get off scot-free either. Nikita had to go to the shops for something the other day. I don't even remember what for. Doesn't really matter for the purpose of the story, does it? Anyway, Westy goes, oh, can I come, Mum? And she goes, yeah, you can come. And usually the boys like to go with Nikita. I don't want to say that I'm like an uncool dad or something like that, but they always, wherever she goes, they want to be latched to her. You can't blame them, okay? And Nikita, P was doing something in his room. I think he got some new toy that he was playing with or something. So he was happy in there. And Nikita just yells out, she goes, hey, P, do you want to come to the shops with me or you want to stay home with Dad? And P just ever so calmly just says to her, nah, I don't mind staying with Dad. I don't mind staying with Dad. What the fuck? Not, I want to stay with Dad. God, that sentence right there, it just stabbed me in the heart. He said it like he was accepting a prison sentence or something like that. Like I'm a substitute teacher of parenting. It fucking crushed me. I was like, cheers, mate. I appreciate you tolerating my company. Oh, God. I feel like it's when you break up with your missus and she says, we can still be friends. That was the type of pain that I felt inside my heart. But speaking about pain, I feel like my watch just vibrated, but I didn't get a message. But anyway, speaking about pain, let's get into this next one. I need a sip before this one because I feel another little coffee cuckoo coming up. That was for you guys that hated Sippy Susu. Holy fuck, that is good. And I'm not just saying that, guys. I'm not just saying that. So this is somewhat of a callback to an earlier episode of the podcast. This is one of the stories that made Adrian piss his pants in the early days that I didn't really think was that funny. That was the thing with the early days of the podcast. I used to say shit just off the cuff, thinking that they were normal like childhood stories or life stories. And then the way that Ash or Adrian or the guests would react, I'd be like, okay, maybe that was a little bit weird. But even to this day, I swear Adrian brings this up once every 2 months when we're talking. And I'm talking about the fake tech deck story from when I was a child. So for those that weren't here in the early days, there will be a few of you because, like I said, downloads are off their fucking chops at the moment. I'm just kidding. It's nothing crazy. Please keep listening to me. But basically, I told a story of look. This is another thing. When I listen, like in the early days of I fucking hate going back and listening to the early days of the podcast because some of the stories I told, I probably painted a picture that wasn't 100% factually accurate. So when I say we weren't exactly like well off, we weren't balling out of control. Okay, we were struggling as a family, but I definitely didn't go without. I definitely had what I needed, and definitely more. But some of that more stuff is exactly like this. So our school was obsessed with tech decks, and we couldn't necessarily afford the proper tech decks. Like maybe I had 1 or 2 proper ones, and then the other ones I had were just from like Crazy Clark's or the $2 shop. And basically, one of my mates had a birthday at primary school, and we ended up buying a heap of these fake tech decks. And when I gave them to him at the birthday party, I was just fucking ridiculed by the entire party. I was fucking it was so fucking demoralizing. Okay, I still look back and the insides of me shudders. And Adrian just finds that so fucking funny. So fuck you, Adrian. But anyway, all this flashback has come from this story this week. So Westy is now living out this same story in the way of fake mini Lego figurines, okay? So I've mentioned before, they've got this little neighborhood gang that's established at the moment. And now that they've been together for about a year or so, is it a year? It'd be coming up to a year, I reckon. There's a couple of the kids in the group that I personally can't stand, okay? I'm not going to name and shame them, but there is this one kid that I'm done with him. you know? He's just so rude and shit, and he's just always on. He's always the one in the group that's trying to get him to do like bad shit, and he's out there swearing and blah blah blah. Nikita and I got to like yell out the window, stop swearing, and meanwhile they're just hearing me and here recording the podcast, just saying fucking cunt every second word. I wonder where they get it from. But this kid is also that one classic kid. We've all had him in our lives where they've got the best of the best. No matter what you have, they've got a better one. Oh, I've got this. Oh, that's fucking the old one. I've got the new one. That one's shit. And him and Westy are obsessed with Lego. And all the time, when we got a bit of extra money and shit, and we're at the shops and Westy goes, oh, that's that new Lego set that I want. And it might be like $80 to $100. And Nikita and I look at each other and we go, okay, he's been good this week. Why not? It's going to keep him busy for a fucking Saturday afternoon. Let's get it for him. And he'll come home. He'll be like, oh, I got this set. And this kid will be like, no, you don't. And Westy will be like, I do. Like, come look in my bedroom. And then the kid will come in and it just starts shitting on everything. Oh, you haven't built this right, or you haven't done that right. And it's like, shut the fuck up, you idiot. I'm getting way too angry towards a 10-year-old boy. But anyway, him and Westy are always talking about these little mini figurines that you can get for the Ninjago set, for those that are familiar with Lego. And they're out of stock at the moment at the Lego store. And they're about like $60 each, which is fucking ridiculous for something this big. I'm holding up my fingers on the camera. For those that are listening audio only, it's about the size of my dick, okay? So like a solid 3 inches. Anyway, Westy found these ones online, and it was a pack of 5 of them for $15. And we said to him, we're like, Westy, you know they're fake. Like they're on Amazon or something like that. And he's like, yeah, what if I get those ones until the real ones are back in stock, blah, blah, blah. And I go, okay, sure, let's buy them for him. He knew off the bat they were fake. And I don't know why he fucking did it, but as soon as they rocked up, he took them out in the front yard ever so excitingly. He's like, check this out. I got these minifigs that we wanted, blah, blah, blah. And this kid straight away just starts dissecting them like he's some sort of forensic scientist. And he's like, the code is wrong, the scale's wrong, this is wrong, it doesn't have this, blah, blah, blah. These are fucking fakes. And I'm like, I'm listening out the window and I'm like, this cockhead, I want to go and kick him in the teeth. And Westy is like visibly devastated. Like deep down, he knew they were fake, but I don't know, there was just... I think he, like as a kid, everyone wants to do it as a kid. You want to take something out to your friends and they'd be like, that's sick, Westy. And that's what we said to him when he came inside. We're like, your real friends would just be like, Westy, that's so fucking cool. We're so happy that you got them. Let's play with them or something. Not just fucking break them down and tear them apart. Anyway, Westy's like distraught, but he's holding it together, obviously, because he's out the front with his mates. But Nikita and I knew we were in for a night when he came inside of just meltdowns and blah, blah, blah. And Westy like picked him up, and the kid, before Westy walked inside, he's like, oh, what are you going to do with him now, Westy? You're just going to throw him in the bin? And Westy's like, yeah, I guess so. And then the kid goes, oh, don't throw him in the bin. I'll take him home. That's when I stepped in. I go, no, you were just saying that they're not cool. They're all fake. And like, why would he have them and stuff? And the kid's like, yeah, but if they're going in the bin, I'll take them. And I'm like, no, I might hang on to them. I might play with them. So now, which... in hindsight, I understand it's a weird thing for a 34-year-old man to say to a 10-year-old kid. Like now this kid just thinks I'm inside just playing with fucking little mini Lego figurines, like some sort of weird autistic kid, which let's be honest, I probably am. But yeah, it was fucking devastating to hear, you know what I mean? And I was like, Westy, I know exactly I know exactly how you feel right now, but let's bust out of that whether it turns out it can get worse clip. I haven't named these because I'm on a time crunch today, so I'm hoping I drag over the correct videos. I think I have. All right, let's see what this lovely lady's got to say.
Ladies, has your man ever nutted off too soon before you got yours? I have the solution. Go get you a mini bullet by Doc Holliday. These mini bullets are sure to please when your man nuts off too soon.
What the fuck? That lady looks like she should be teaching survival skills, not fucking orgasms, but just fully dressed in camo, explaining vibrators to women on the internet. shout out to her. Shout out to her for getting hers. But she looks like the type of woman that would eat cigarette butts recreationally. Oh, God. All right, let's close that. All right, got some new tread on my feet this week, guys. I don't have the flexibility in my legs to lift them up, but my old Crocs, I don't think the bottom of those could have had any less traction. It was probably the smoothest surface in the universe, okay? Which led to me, every time I walked in the rain, it made me look like some sort of Mario Kart character just slipping on banana peels. And like every time I was walking on, particularly like pedestrian crossings or anything, any sort of painted concrete surface, I was almost guaranteed to eat shit, okay? And it was, look, I don't want to say this was adding to my knee pain, but it certainly wasn't helping because the way that I used to slip and have to try and recover so that I didn't look like a fuckhead in front of like the public, it was insane. Anyway, Mum witnessed this on the weekend. She witnessed me eat shit on a pedestrian crossing, and she's like, "What happened there?" I'm like, "Oh, Crocs have got no tread on them." And shout out to Mum. Went and bought me a new pair of Crocs. Look at that, making up for all those fake tech decks. Fuck you, Adrian. These are legit Crocs on my feet right now. Anyway, I went back to the car. I threw my old Crocs in the car and put these straight on. Walked across that exact same pedestrian crossing. My God, the grip on these bad boys is fucking insane. I was trying to slip over, and these bad boys just were not letting me get any sort of like slide. I just physically can't slide in these. I'm like some sort of fucking gecko right now. I feel like I could climb vertical walls in these bad boys, but it's insane that like you can live with something for so long that you're just like, oh, this is how these should work. Like I was just like, oh, I'm starting to hate Crocs because they're just so terrible. I eat shit all the time. And now these bad boys, I'm like, Crocs are fucking where they're at. So stay tuned for next week when I try and because I'm purposely trying to make these slip now. So next week I'll probably tune in a cast or something. I'll be like, oh, I broke my fucking fibula trying to slip over in my Crocs. But, that's fucking early to get into another turns out it can get worse clip. Let's drag her across. All right, let's hit play. I think I just put it in here because I thought those stories weren't going to go for as long as they did. Let's hit play.
I'm sure you like a casual look, just as I'm sure you're looking for casual sex.
Jesus Christ. That looked like someone's drunk aunt just trying to reboot their marriage. Oh, the internet just seems to have given everyone confidence these days, but just an older woman just making horny TikToks. There's nothing better, is there? But all right, let's touch on this before we get in my week in comedy. Actually, I think that's why I put the turns out it can get worse clip above that one. So I thought I'd jump on with a little bit of honesty and stuff this week, okay? Because the last few, it's been a while now. It's been a long time, hasn't it? Where I haven't had as many gigs a week as I was maybe this time last year, right? And I've always been fucking signing off the podcast and I'm like, oh, I'm working on shit behind the scenes. Stay tuned, everyone. And look, that is true. I am definitely working on shit behind the scenes. But I just don't think like I'm grinding as hard as what I think you guys are picturing in your heads, okay? Because like this time last year, the mindset and shit that I was in, like I was burning the candle at both ends. Is that the saying? I don't fucking know. But I was absolutely run into the ground. I was just trying to bite off more than I could chew. Multiple gigs, multiple fucking podcasts. I was going here, I was going there. I was trying to juggle everything and just not doing anything comfortably or successfully. And I think over the last 6 months or so in particular, it's been the longest sort of mental break that I've had in the last 4 years of just more or less taking it easy and cruising, I suppose you could say. And in reflection, I definitely needed it. I needed it bad because the level of burnout that I had, like that you guys have fucking witnessed as of late, would have been so much worse if I had kept going for like another year or so. Like I reckon I would have got to the point where I just pulled the pin on everything and just went, nah, nothing's going to work, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, I don't know. There's just something in my head that feels guilty about taking that little bit of a rest. And like, in saying that, it's not really a rest because I'm still doing gigs. I'm still punching out podcasts. I'm just not making it my whole life, if that makes sense. And it has been it's been sick, if I'm being honest. But at the same time, especially over this weekend, I was sitting there. It was Magic Round in the NRL this week. And I think I watched like every game. I might have missed one or something. But I was just sitting there watching Magic Round. And every game, the only thing that I was thinking, I was just looking at Suncorp in the background and I was going, holy shit, you are so delusional that you think that you could actually sell that place out one day. Just telling stupid little dick jokes. And I was like, that's either some like crazy ambition or just fucking some serious undiagnosed mental illness. I think it's the second one, if I'm being honest. I'm going to take a sip. Oh, so I think I've just come to the realization where obviously that's still the dream and still ticking little goals to get there and things like that. But I think over the last couple of weeks, I've really sort of come to the realization that I'm not going to get anywhere working at the current state that I'm working, okay? I need to tap a little bit back into that beast that was there the last fucking 4 years and just start grinding a little bit harder than I am right now. Like, that's the weird line that I need to find. I need to try and do as much as I was doing back then, but using less energy and time, if that makes sense. I don't fucking know, but I just thought I'd come on here, voice it on here, as I do. Like, this is the segment of the podcast that I like to call James's personal diary, where he just airs shit out to keep himself accountable and look back on it a few years and go, oh, there was a little turning point that you can look back on. But let's rip into my week in comedy. I actually forgot that I had this one, so I didn't plug this last week. But yeah, I forgot to put it on in my calendar because the room runner. Oh God, here comes the coughing. I told you guys I'm going to take another little sip and then we'll get into it. Oh, so the room runner actually hit me up to do this gig on my way out of another gig like a couple months ago, and I was like, yeah, sweet, just put me in the group chat or whatever. She put me in the group chat, and then I just forgot about it. I should have put it in the calendar like a normal person. And group chat goes off the morning of the show last Tuesday, and I've gone, what the fuck is this? Open it up, and I'm like, oh shit, that's tonight. Luckily, I was free, and luckily, actually, Nikita actually worked back late that day, so I had to drop the kids at mum's. And so this was actually a weird gig for me, if I'm being honest. This was the first lineup I've ever been on where it was all females and I was the only male on the whole lineup. I felt like I was the token straight white man on the lineup. I was like the diversity hire for the night. But I'd never done this room before, and I'd seen a couple of photos and things like that. I don't know what it was. I didn't set my expectations high for the gig. I don't know why. I was like, let's just go do it. And it was all the way down at Coolangatta, which is like fucking traffic that time. It took me about an hour 20 to get down there. And then it was also the first set that I'd done in a little while of 10 minutes, which felt good. It felt good to stretch my wings again and go for that little bit longer. Like what I've been doing recently is just like 5 and 7 minute sets, which they're fun, but you don't really get to fuck around with the crowd as much. You just got to go there, do your set, and fucking get out of there. But yeah, got there, did my 10 minutes. I played it pretty safe, if I'm being honest, but it felt smooth. I felt relaxed up there and had a sneaky little crush. So it was cool. It's a cool little room down there, cool crowd, and yeah, it's sick. So if you're in the Coolangatta area, keep an eye out for that one and go check it out next time. It's at Four Pines Brewery down there at Cooly. So fun one. The gig that I did plug last week, didn't actually get to go there. So Poco on Caxton Street, some idiot here forgot that it was Magic Round this week, and that show actually wasn't on because obviously if you're trying to do a comedy show on Caxton Street after Magic Round, it's like trying to fucking open a library in a prison riot or something. It's not going to fucking work. Just a heap of drunk NRL hecklers would have been the worst thing possible. It would have been like a fucking war zone up there. So I'm going to try and get to that one this Sunday, I think. Pending. That is pending. So anyone, if you do plan on coming to that one, maybe shoot me a DM on the day and I will let you know if I'm heading up there. But let's play our last Turns Out It Can Get Worse clip for the episode. Drag this bad boy over. All right.
This is a message to the bitch who flipped me off in the passenger seat of her car on C Street near 100th, that area. Go fuck yourself, dumb bitch. Dumbass fucking scag flipping me off. Fuck you.
Jesus Christ, that was way too aggressive, brother. We are definitely missing some context right there. I want to know what you did to her to make her flip you off. But wearing a bright red suit in the middle of the day in traffic, I don't know. Is he going to like Beanley Courthouse or something? Because I swear I've seen that suit there before. Anyway, let's rip into some shit that I've consumed this week. Let's kick it off. This one, sometimes in the world of podcasting, things don't really line up. And this is probably old news for you guys because this actually happened last Monday after I recorded the last episode. And that's why I didn't talk about it last week. But some huge news over the last week, specifically in the comedy world. The Kevin Hart roast was on Netflix. So they did this live. I didn't get to watch it live because I was doing podcast shit. And also Nikita said she wanted to watch it. So I was like, all right, we'll put it on Monday night once you get home, blah, blah, blah. And it is copping a lot of backlash. There is a lot of people in the comedy world at the moment just going back and forth like little bitches at the moment. Now, I'm of the mindset, right, where a roast is no holds bar. There is fucking, you swing for the fences and whatever's said needs to be taken as a joke. Was there some jokes on there that were tiptoeing on that line? For sure, but that's what you got to do in a roast, and that's why you put these people on the roast that were there so that they say that offensive shit and they make you laugh and stuff. So it is copping a lot of backlash, specifically Shane Gillis and Tony Hinchcliffe for the stuff they said. I just want to say Shane Gillis was the host of the night. You guys know I'm the biggest Shane Gillis dick rider on the planet, one of my favorite comedians out there. And in my head, he absolutely fucking crushed. There was a moment where he did the opening like monologue or whatever. Then he went and sat down and then he came back out for his like opening roast, if you will. And I think about a minute or two into that, you saw a little light bulb light up in his head and go, no matter what I say, these guys are going to fucking hate me anyway. So fuck it. Let's just swing for the fences. And it was good to see him play into, like there were moments where he's like, why the fuck are all these rich celebrities sitting down the front here? He's like, we should get all these people up on the upper decks down here. And just to hear the roar of that arena of all like the real comedy fans up there, just fucking cheering him on. I think that you could see it from that moment that he was like, all right, fuck this shit. Let's go hard. And then he just starts calling like, he's like, wow, there's a lot of pedophiles sitting down here to like the celebrities and shit, obviously referring to the Epstein files and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it was so good for him to go out there and set the tone of what a roast should be. Tony Hinchcliffe fucking crushed again. He's copping a lot of backlash, but he's like one of the ultimate roasters out there. Pete Davidson, I love Pete Davidson. He fucking crushed. A lot of the jokes based at him were about his dad that died in 9/11, blah, blah, blah. Biggest surprise of the night. This one blew me the fuck away because I did not know who this lady was. Cheryl Underwood. Everyone was like roasting her hard, going at her. And I'm like, this poor lady, she's come out on a fucking Sunday night to enjoy things and she is just copping strays left, right and center. Shane was going hard at her for her dead husband who committed suicide, which was hard but funny. And then she got her time at the fucking podium and she slaughtered. She fucking annihilated. It was so good. She probably had one of the best, if not the best set of the night. It was absolutely crazy. And Shane Gillis came out on his podcast this week and he's like, yeah, she was insane because we did rehearsals and she did a completely different set to what she did at rehearsals. So to basically improvise your entire roast set on a live live roast on Netflix, which will probably be the most viewed or one of the most viewed roasts of all time. Absolutely insane. So you've won a fan in me, Cheryl Underwood. And look, the disappointment for me in the whole thing is Chelsea Handler. Now, I will go on record and say that I was/am a huge Chelsea Handler fan, okay? Chelsea lately, that was a big thing in my childhood that really got me into comedy. Just to see, like, because she gave a lot of people their shot, like Kevin Hart, Joe Coy was on Chelsea lately, Fortune Feimster, she was on there. Just all these, like, huge comedians now, she was giving shots back in, like, the early 2000s. And Chelsea lately was like Rove Live for you Australians listening to this, but way better and way funnier. And it's just, I've only really seen her again over the last 6 months or so. And she just seems to have come back, I don't know, bitter and angry and not really, I'm not really feeling her, if I'm being honest. So she went pretty hard at everyone. She did have a couple of good jokes, I'll give her that. But yeah, I don't know what it is. But all in all, I fucking enjoyed it. I thought it was a sick roast. I love that format. But let me know what you guys thought. Movie I watched this week. Look, it's The Crash on Netflix. I knew this story because it was filling my TikTok algorithm about a year ago. So I felt like I already knew most of the story, but I'm like, okay, they've made a Netflix documentary, so maybe they've found like a big new piece of evidence or something, and that's why they're making this documentary. So Nikita and I sat down on Saturday night or something, and because I didn't know this was filling up her feed as well. It's weird when you're a couple and, like, obviously you got your own algorithms and stuff. You don't really know what anyone's watching. And the fact that we were both watching this separately and now we're both like, oh my God, we have to check this documentary out. And we're like, how do you know about that? How do you know about that? Blah, blah, blah. So we sat down, we watched it. I was expecting a lot more, if I'm being honest. It was good to see the entire story broken down, rather than like a little fucking 40-second TikTok reel or something. But I still don't know what to think of it. Like, I personally am leaning towards she is guilty. So, spoiler alert for those that don't know. It's basically of a young girl. I think she was 17 or 18 when this all happened. And she's being accused of killing her boyfriend and his friend in a car accident. She basically drove a car straight into the side of a building and they both died. She lived. And just the little facts that you get, you're like, okay, she definitely does seem insane. She seems like a psychopath. But is there enough evidence there to confidently convict her? I know personally, if I was on the jury, I don't think I could sit there and go, like, as much as I wanted her to be guilty or I thought she was guilty, I just don't know if there was enough evidence, okay? It was all sort of theoretically, if you will. Maybe I'm misreading it. Maybe you guys might have read it differently to me, but it was a good watch. If you don't know the story, go check it out. But yeah, stories like that, that's definitely why I dodge jury duty every time I get the letter, because I cannot have that decision sitting on my shoulders. All right. Let's break down some sport that went down yesterday. And you know what, guys? I think that this little sport breakdown might be brought to you thanks to our friends at Knucklebet, okay? Now, I'm not discussing any odds or anything. All this is past. As of next week, we might introduce a little bit of a segment where I let you guys know what I'm looking at this for that week. So I know that we've got the NBA playoffs deep in there. NRL, I've told you guys that I'm deep on that, and obviously the UFC. So next week I might chime in with a little bit of what I'm looking at. Obviously, I'm not going to give you tips or anything like that. I'm just going to openly tell you guys what I'm looking at. And obviously, you guys need to know, gamble responsibly. Anything I say or tell you guys is not to be taken as Bible. It is all just thoughts that I've had and things that I'm interested in watching that week. But anyway, what I want to discuss this week, thanks to our friends at Knucklebet, just rolls off the tongue so naturally, doesn't it? I'm going to take a little sip of this. The MVP card that went down. MVP had its first little dabble in the world of MMA. So this is the first time MMA has ever been on Netflix. Obviously, when this card got announced, I was overhyped on it. I was like, this is sick. This is going to be the biggest card of all time. Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, Nate Diaz, Mike Perry, Francis Ngannou, Junior Dos Santos, all these UFC greats coming together on this MMA card. Now, about a week ago, maybe even 2 weeks, once the event was starting to approach, I really started to look at it and go, I don't think this is going to be as great as what... Like, obviously, when something gets announced, you're excited as fuck. You're like, this is going to be sick. This is going to be unreal. This is going to be the best MMA card of all time. And a couple of weeks ago, I just sat there and I looked at the card and I was like, I don't know if this is going to be great. So let's break into the card and we will go through my thoughts where I really tried to make this the card that I wanted it to be. So obviously the main card kicked off. We had Junior Dos Santos in there, ex-UFC heavyweight champion, UFC, one of the greats of the UFC, you know? And as soon as I saw him on the camera, I was like, this old man does not need to be in the cage, okay? He's 42 years old right now. He's, like I said, he's from the heavyweight division, so he has his fair share of fucking head knocks. And I just wanted to tell myself, Junior Dos Santos, he can get this done. He can dip his toe back in that youth pool and make it happen. Now, seeing Junior Dos Santos, actually, as a blanket statement for this, I think that the testing pool for substances, things like that, I think they might turn a blind eye at MVP because some of these guys looked absolutely fucking jacked and shredded. I don't want to accuse anyone of maybe using some illicit substances or anything, but some of these guys' bodies, in a no-homo way, looked absolutely unreal. Junior Dos Santos looked great for a 42-year-old man. Am I accusing him? I wouldn't say that. I don't know if you guys are saying that. But he proceeds to get in the cage. This is one big thing that fucking irritated me. They were referring to the octagon as a hexagon. It ground my gears, okay? Gets viciously knocked out in the first round. Did we all know that was exactly what was going to happen? Of course we did, but we wanted to paint that fairy tale picture in our heads. Let's move on. The next fight didn't really interest me too much, but again, vicious first round knockout. Then we get to the Francis Ngannou fight. Now, I'm a huge Francis Ngannou fan. Was I going to bet against him? Absolutely not. But did I convince myself, okay, Francis hasn't been in a cage for 2 or 3 years, I don't think. And before that, he was dipping his toe in the boxing world. Did I convince myself that Philip Lins could at least take him past the first round and potentially get this fight to over 1.5 rounds, which was paying $2.70, okay? And I was like, surely Francis has got a bit of ring rust. The fight proceeds. Did Francis have ring rust? Absolutely not. He is a fucking specimen of a human. He is the best example of a heavyweight fighter we have ever seen in our lifetime. He goes in there, toys around with Philip Lins for the first little bit. About 10 seconds left in the fight. Fucking knockout. First round knockout by Francis Ngannou. Again, did we all know that was going to happen? Of course we fucking did. What else was going to happen? So we go into that. Well, actually, no, let's stay on that for a little bit. Francis, this next 30 minutes in the world of MMA is potentially the best 30 minutes in the MMA world that I have seen easily in the last 5 years, potentially longer. We see Francis Ngannou absolutely put on a fucking display and show us why he is the best heavyweight champion in the world. Does he have the UFC title for fucking reasons that are out of his control? Potentially. Do him and Dana need to make up so that he can go in there and absolutely keep staunching these heavyweight fighters in the UFC? For sure. Is it going to happen? Definitely not. Especially after what went down after the fight. So John Jones gets Francis gets the win. Now, he's doing his post-fight speech and Jake Paul is beside him. Jake Paul all of a sudden says he wants to fight Francis in MMA. Jake Paul is fucking delusional as shit. That is not anyone. That's a death sentence. That's fucking, what's the word? I don't know. It's like you want to commit suicide. What does that mean? I forget what it is. But going up against Francis is absolute suicide. So then we find out that John Jones is in the building, that was the ultimate fight that we all never got to see. John Jones versus Francis Ngannou. Francis and John Jones start going back and forth. And all of a sudden, John Jones says on the live broadcast, if we can find a way out of my UFC contract, I will fight Francis Ngannou. Holy shit. That is insane to hear John Jones say out loud. A, it's going to make Dana a very angry man to hear him say that. B, I can only imagine the discussions going around Saudi Arabia and things like that today of the money just being thrown around going, you know what? Let's pay Dana White $1 billion to get John Jones out of this contract so we can make this absolute super fight happen and just make our money back easily. Could you imagine if that goes down? My God. And then to cap all that off, okay, in between all that going down, we all heard the rumors. Obviously, MVP being on Netflix, doing their first show, it was going to be all eyes on that on Sunday. UFC had a fight night going on. Was it the biggest fight night? Not really. There were a couple good fights on there. But obviously, Dana White he can be petty at times, okay? He can be petty, and this was rumored all week that Dana was holding something that he was going to release during their fucking card, and of course he did. During Francis Ngannou's walkout, Dana hates Francis, so he's like, you know what? Fuck this guy, fuck Jake Paul, fuck everyone. I'm just going to casually drop Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway 2 happening in 2 months at International Fight Weeks. Holy fuck. When I say I was up off the couch, jumping around the house, Nikita's going, what the fuck is going on? I'm trying to explain to her, Francis, John Jones, Conor McGregor, Max Holloway, Dana White fucking throwing his toys out of the cot. Everything that just went down, I'm just trying to encapsulate into a conversation with her. She's not exactly catching on to what I'm throwing down, but Dana White just making moves like a jealous ex-girlfriend, just stealing the limelight. But holy shit, I was absolutely hyped on that. It was a good day to be an MMA fan. Let's get through the next two real quick. We had Nate Diaz versus Mike Perry. In this one, I convinced myself again. I go, Mike Perry hasn't been in an MMA fight for a long time. He's just been focused on bare knuckle fighting. And obviously we all know Nate Diaz is a fucking grappler and he can submit anyone on his good day. When the fight started, Nate Diaz, I don't know what the fuck we were watching. That was probably the worst I've seen Nate ever. I'll go on record and say that. Mike Perry was absolutely fucking beating the brakes off him. There was blood pouring out of Nate Diaz's face. And I said before, I'm questioning their juicing testing because Mike Perry looked absolutely fucking jacked. And I actually said to someone in a group chat, I'm like, I feel like MVP went to Nate Diaz and they're like, hey, are you sweet if we don't test Mike Perry? And Nate Diaz's reply was, are you guys sweet if you don't test me for weed and I get absolutely fucking blazed before this fight? Because I don't know what Nate Diaz was thinking for that fight, but he looked absolutely awful. So that got stopped. That got doctor stoppage after like the second round, I think. And then we get to the main event, Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano. Of course, we all fucking knew this was going to happen. But again, I wanted to paint the fairy tale. I basically wanted to make this card just what I thought it could be. The fact that it was all just so predictable and just written to the T of how we all knew it was going to go, it took away a little bit of the glamour for me, if I'm being honest. So Ronda Rousey makes her walkout. Gina Carano's in the octagon and the fight starts. Vintage Ronda. Vintage fucking Ronda. 17-second armbar. Absolutely insane. And then again, a couple of mates are messaging me. They're like, what the fuck was that? That was so shit. Training a year for 17 seconds. I'm like, boys, have you never seen a Ronda Rousey fight before? All these guys are just expecting like the Holly Holm Ronda or the Amanda Nunes Ronda. This is what Ronda Rousey does. Take you to the ground, get you in an armbar, the fight is done. But yeah, I would be lying if like I said, Ronda Rousey, she's a big reason that really got me into the UFC. Obviously, before her come up and Conor and shit, I was dabbling here and there. But once those two came in, I was just hooked. I was like, this is fucking sick. And it was good to see Ronda get in there and just get another armbar submission and just ride off into the sunset. So overall takeaway on the MVP card, it was entertaining, but it definitely painted to me why the UFC is the big leagues. Like, the UFC product is just so fucking good. We have to stand back and go, okay, this was MVP's first ever card that they've put on. Obviously, there's going to be teething issues. They're going to iron things out if they keep going. It's not going to be as good as what the UFC is today. The UFC's been around since 92, I think. So they've had 34 years to perfect that product. And to be judging MVP on the back of that for their first event, I think it's a little bit harsh, but I don't know. It didn't do it for me. I can't say that I will make the jump from the UFC to MVP. I think I'm just going to be, I have to be UFC dick rider till the day I die. So, again, we'll see what they put together. If they can make that John Jones, Francis Ngannou fight happen for their next card, who knows? It could be a completely different conversation because, again, they have the resources, they have the money. They could dissect that first card and go, all right, this is everything we need to do to make the next one better. Let's make it happen. So, I'm keen to see where it all goes from here. But that's been the episode this week, guys. I appreciate you all. Shows to plug for the week. I've got Thursday the 21st. I'll be at Sit Down Comedy Club for their Mitzi show. Sunday afternoon, I might venture to Poco Poco again, but no guarantees. Other than that, guys, send submissions via DM on Instagram or at can'tgetanywursepod@gmail.com. I appreciate you all, guys. The podcast would not be where it's at today if it was not for you guys. So thank you all very much. I'm going to go to my physio appointment and can't wait for them to undo all the good work that I've done on my knee the last few weeks. But hope you all have ripper weeks, and I will see you later.
Can't get any worse, we'll make you see. There's always a silver lining. We'll set you free, so join